What's up? It's your girl Sherelle Unique here, and this is my review of Brandy's new book. It's called Phases, A Memoir. This is chapters 11 through 28, part 2. So I was talking about Brandy and Monica and how the rift started between the two ladies, how a lot played into it, like the labels, the media, them just being young, the fans. Everybody was kind of like pinning them against one another. Brandy talked about when she wrote the song, people were already comparing Brandy and Monica and Aaliyah. And so when she wrote the song, a lot of people were against it. Her family was against it. The label was against it. A lot of people was like, do not play into this. It's going to build it up even more. Well, Brandy was trying to get ahead of the drama, and she was really ahead of her time, because the more you're talked about, the better, in a sense. The more clout you get, the more you have your name out in the public. If they are comparing you to somebody else, any kind of drama like that keeps your name out there, and it builds you into even a bigger star. So although that was not Brandy's intent when she wrote The Boy Is Mine, it's interesting how that played out. But I found it fascinating that a lot of people were against her putting this song out. Now, I said I was going to talk about some of the things that she did not put in the book as well. And I think she kind of downplayed the rift between the two ladies. I mean, she mentioned it, but there was that rumor that Monica punched Brandy in the face. She didn't address any of that at all. And so she didn't address their negative times between the two of them, because I think things got a little spicier than what she admitted to in this book. And I understand if that's the case, because right now they're in a good space and the public ain't gonna let you reconcile. They're not gonna let you grow. They're not gonna let you evolve. And so it's better just to say, hey, we good, which I believe they are good now. You know what I'm saying? Because the tour was fantastic. I'm hearing rumors that they're looking at other dates. I hope they do. It's something about the two ladies coming together, that chemistry, and they, for whatever reason, career-wise, are better together. I'm enjoying it. And side note, another thing she did not talk about in this book was the rift between her and Countess Vaughn. We heard a lot about the girls not getting along on the Moesha set. She did not address that. I would have liked to have heard what was going on with that. I'm sure it was just teenage young girl drama, which is gonna happen. But it would have been interesting to hear how that got started, how it got resolved, that whole thing. All right, so Brandy talked more about some of her career endeavors, like getting deeper into acting. She discussed I Know What You Did last summer, and how that was completely different from doing like a television sitcom. How that experience was more like, okay, I'm in an air-conditioned place, they're ironing my clothes, I'm getting catered to. Whereas this movie, totally different. She gets to, first of all, she gets to step out, use language that she never got to use on the other shows that she had been on. But she was in like different environment where it was hot, there was bugs, it was it was not as comfortable in an environment. And she actually loved that. She loved to stretch herself and do something different. She talked about working with the icon Diana Ross in the movie Double Platinum. She talked about the challenges of Double Platinum, how there were a lot of similarities between the mother-daughter dynamic in the movie and in comparison to the mother-daughter dynamic that she had with her own mother. Shout out to Miss Sonia Norwood. I mean, Lord knows, I wish I had a manager that was like strong, fierce, about her business, no nonsense. She took Brandy to stardom. That business piece is the most important piece. And that music business is really a dog eat dog world. There's the casting couch situation going on in that world, and Brandy really could have gotten taken advantage of, especially as we're hearing now how the entertainment business is today, and all the people that's coming out with their stories of how this happened to them, that happened to them, this person took advantage of them. And it just sounds like Sonya, although she was not liked by everyone, she was a fierce protector of her family. However, the downside of that is that she didn't know how to balance when to be a mom and when to be a manager. That was the tough part, which I do give her grace for that. So ultimately, Brandy started to resent her for just kind of not being more compassionate, and I would say maybe even nurturing at times when Brandy really just needed her mom, you know? And it was really a tough balance. I would imagine you're trying to get your artist to take steps forward, but you're also trying to figure out how to be consoling and empathetic to your daughter. I'm sure it was a tough role, but she did talk about her and her mom going camping and having a heart to heart and coming together and having that talk. She left out in the book, though, how bold her mother really was. You know, I think Brandy was intentional about protecting her family members. She didn't talk much about Miss Sonya's sassiness, attitude. You know, she didn't get into the negatives of that, but I mean, what do you expect? She talked about working with Kanye West on one of her albums. He did talk about our love, and he did Where You Want to Be. I had to go back and listen to that song, and that actually was my jam. But she really wanted to clean up her vocals on that song, and Kanye would go back and forth with her about it. And then when she came back to say, hey, no, I'm dead serious, I really want to clean up those vocals, he was like, I submitted the song already. And that was like a pivotal moment for her, because first off, she was trying to work with one producer, I believe it was Timberland, and she wanted to just work with that producer for the whole album. Then the label was like, no, you need to work with Kanye West. So that was forced. Then he's putting out a song that she does not deem is ready. So she is really realizing that her voice is stifled. And she wanted to get off the label. She put out a couple albums that did not hit. And it's just interesting to see that someone as successful as she is struggled in this manner. She also discussed that she had an eating disorder. She suffered with bulimia, and a number of different diets and different things that she was trying to keep her weight down. You know, she was getting older, her body was shaping into womanhood, you know, the curves start popping in, and she really struggled with having an eating disorder. And so it's just interesting to see someone that you deem so successful have so many challenges, so many struggles, self-esteem issues, being unsure of themselves, trying to find their voice, trying to be respected in their craft. It was really eye-opening. All right, this is part 2. I'll be back with part 3 of my review, chapters 11 through 28. Hit the like button and follow me. I'm Sherelle Unique.